Hello there, and welcome to Daniel's Infinite Playlist. And this is the classic album review section where we basically take a look back on the albums that have been released before. And today we're going to actually review one of the most, well, I wouldn't say strangest, but one of the more, how do you say, unique albums in my collection. And that is, of course, the British band's one and only debut album, Qfeel by Qfeel, and it was released in 1982. And for those of you who don't know who Qfeel are, well, Qfeel used to be a four-piece synth pop band that just released. Well, they're mainly known for their one and only single, which is called "Dancing in Heaven," which was actually released. Actually included in movies such as Girls Just Wanna Have Fun, and also it has had some kind of re-emergence as a song on TV series and all of that. And I wouldn't complain because that song is just really amazing, and it's thanks to the movie Girls Just Wanna Have Fun that I actually discovered this band. And this band also had a very short period as a band because I think they started out in 1981 and then they disbanded in 1984. And the band's frontman, which is called Martin Page, he actually had a lot of success as a solo artist later, apparently, according to Wikipedia. I don't know. Anyways. How is it to listen to this album? Well, it's a bit like this. Alright, now I'm going to show you the CD boxing, and this is one of the more expensive CDs that I've ever bought. I think it cost me about $40 or something. Anyways, and it's because, well, there are so few copies printed, and this is one of them, and I thought, well, it must be worth it. And I think it totally is. I mean, I still like this album. Anyways, here you see the cover. I think it's the four band members, or just a photo of one of the band members posing. And then you see the track listing here behind, and then you see here a quote from one of the songs and some credits over here. It's a very simple CD from its time. Then you see like the inside. It's just like this. It has some special thanks here. Yeah, I mean it's just your basic standard, just a CD insert from the 80s and 90s. Alright, now back to the actual review. For those of you who don't know, actually Qfeel, the song Dancing in Heaven was actually included as one of the songs that was going to compete for the UK at the Eurovision, but instead another song was chosen to be a part of instead, which is a shame. I think they would have won. Anyways, how is this album musically? Well, musically, this album is your very standard, how do you say, synth pop fare. It has tight choruses, very very modern production for the era. It's very pop minded, so you'll always remember what the choruses are about, and I think that there's not a single dull moment in the album. It's a very, how do you say, it can also be cheesy in some ways, like for example, there's a song Heroes Never Die, which feels kind of like something that would be played at like a Top Gun movie or something like that. But it's just the basic standard synth pop, how is it, fare. It has some instances of Italo disco and also a bit of reggae, like just like a reggae new wave beat at the final song, which is called Red Light Zone. And I think that's the weakest song in the whole album, because the whole album just goes like full throttle, like with the, how to say, with the very poppy and very danceable songs, and then it just goes, you know, grinds to a halt in this, you know, just very slow burner of a song. I mean, it isn't bad by any means, but just, you know, like album wise, it's a very odd choice. So yeah, how is this album lyrically? Well, lyrically, this album is very much of its time as well. I mean, it deals with themes of love, for example, like in the song Crosstalk, and also even Dancing with Robots, like in Electric Feet, and also it goes into the absurd, but you know, what pop song isn't absurd? You know, like especially in the hit Dancing in Heaven, which is about um, being sent to space and, you know, being the first person to dance in heaven. And I think it's just really silly, but you know, it's a song that's punched with so much work. I think that song is like 6 minutes long, and it doesn't feel like it is 6 minutes, and it's just really amazing. And I think it's because of Martin Page's very expressive voice. He does it really well. Well, I mean, and then there's also the very cheesy, as aforementioned, Heroes Never Die, which feels some sort of an anthem of a B movie film action flick of the 80s or something like that. And it's okay. I mean, it's just, I mean, you don't have to think much. You just have to feel, just like with their name, Qfeel. So yeah, what do I give this album? Well, I give it an 8 out of 10. I think it's a very tightly produced pop album, debut album of its time, while it still leaves a little bit more to, you know, to be desired, like on the production. Sometimes it just can delve too deeply in, you know, just cheesy synth pop cliches, and even the lyrics could have some work as well. I think it's a really good album, and it's just such a shame that the band just, I mean, that they disbanded, because I would have loved to see a more, how do you say, electronic and poppier version of New Order. New Order is an excellent band, and I mean, New Order isn't very shy of displaying their, how do you say, pop affinities, but you know, this band just was just full of it, and you know, they had the songs. I mean, Dancing in Heaven is not only the good song, I think every song is quite good except for the last one, but you know, it's amazing, and I think it's a shame that people just haven't looked into this band a bit more. But maybe it was also because maybe they sounded just a lot like other bands in the time. But from all of the records of the 80s that I have, especially synth pop records, I think this one really stands out because it has solid songs and very solid production. And I wish they would do a re-release of this album, because it's just, I don't know, I think it's a rarity that's worth, you know, to just look into, because it's just very, how do you say, it's very interesting, and I'd like to know more of this band. And even if they have a Wikipedia page, the information is just very scarce on why they disbanded and all of that. But hey, maybe that's a question for the future or something like that. Maybe they'll re-release this album or something, because oh, that's also one thing, that you can't find the whole album out there on the internet. You can only find the song Dancing in Heaven, which is it's really annoying, but you'll find it at least, you know, like with a better mixing and all of that. But you know, the whole album, it's just available on CD, which is really hard to find, and also the vinyl. And one of the things that really sucks also with the CD version is that the mixing is quite low, so you'll have to crank up the volume a lot if you want to hear, you know, like the songs better. I mean, like even with my Bluetooth headphones, you just have to really raise the volume up like a lot. Anyways, that was it for today. As always, I'm going to put the artist links down below. Qfeel is unfortunately a band that's hard to find, but I'll leave, you know, links to places where you could possibly find the album and all of that. And yeah, and if this was your first video, then please give a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I'm always Going to be back with new album reviews every Wednesday and classic album reviews every Saturday. So yeah, that's a little bit of what I do. So if you'd like to join the, how do you say, the ride, then I'd be more than happy to have you. Anyways, that's it for me. Enjoy music, enjoy life, people. Vi ses. Hej då!